So good morning, everybody. I'm Roberta Rostellato from INRAE, and I'm going to present the work that we carry out as part of the work package 2.2 concerning the influence of production, reproduction, morphology, and health traits on true and functional longevity in French Holstein cows. A slide, please. The resilience can be defined as the capacity of the animals to be minimally affected by disturbances, and in the long term, the resilient animals are able to maintain the normal processes when confronted with the environmental perturbations. For example, they continue to grow and to reproduce. It reduces the risk to be killed, and the longevity can be used as a proxy to study the resilience. A slide, please. So dairy cows are mainly replaced for low milk production. In this case, we have the voluntary culling, or for other reasons than production, for example, fertility problems or diseases. In this case, we have the involuntary culling. As consequence, we can define two traits for the longevity, the true and the functional longevity. The first one is the ability to delay any culling. The second one is the aptitude to avoid the involuntary culling. A slide, please. So the objective of the study was to investigate the influence of several traits on true and functional longevity in order to identify risk factors for culling. The investigated traits were the insemination status, the calving ease, 9 type traits, the clinical mastitis, the somatic cell count, the displaced abomasum, and the milk fever. A slide, please. Data were from the French National Database for Bovine Selection, and for the traits regarding the diseases, they were from the sanitary diaries collected during the project GenTORE. The study focused on French Holstein breed, and we select the herds with exhaustive records of health events in the herd over at least 5 consecutive years, and we call this period of completeness of disease recording. And we consider the animals in the selected herds and with milk production records for at least the first lactation during the CDR period. After the editing, the dataset included almost 122,000 animals reared in 640 herds. Slide, please. The statistical methodology we chose for the study was the survival analysis. This methodology allowed to combine the information from both dead animals and animals still alive at the end of the investigated period. Slide, please. So in our data, we had 2 groups of animals, the uncensored cows, so the animals that or that left the herd for disposal, and the censored cows, the animal still alive at the end of the investigated period, the cows with more than 5 lactations, the cows that move to another herd, and the cows with lactation length greater than 800 days. In our data, 49% of the animals was censored. Slide, please. The criteria chosen to define the longevity was the length of the productive life, that is the time between the date of the first calving and the date of culling. And to estimate the risk to be culled associated to the investigated traits, we use the Weibull proportional hazard models. Firstly, we analyzed two base models, one for true longevity and second one for the functional longevity. The base model for the true longevity included a part representing the Weibull baseline hazard functions for the lactation stages and the parities, a random effect of herd here, a fixed effect of age at the first calving, and the time-dependent fixed effects of herd size variation and calving year season. Slide, please. The base model used for functional longevity was as the previous one, but included the effects of milk production traits. In fact, there is no direct measure for the functional longevity, but we can obtain it by correcting the probability to be culled for the milk production. Slide, please. And after that, each trait related to reproduction, morphology, and health status was added to the two base models and tested distinctly from the others. Slide, please. So the traits with a measured effect on true and functional longevity were the insemination status, the calving ease, the body condition score, the body and the other depth, the clinical mastitis, and the somatic cell count. Slide, please. Now I'm going to illustrate the results for three traits, one for each group as example. So this table reported the results for the insemination status. This trait was classified in 6 classes as reported in description. And the blue and the orange columns reported the relative risk to be culled associated to the functional longevity and the true longevity. And the class 5 was chosen as the reference class for this trait. We can see that cows that were not inseminated or not yet pregnant had a much higher risk to be culled than pregnant cows. For example, the animals in class 1 had a risk to be culled 5 times higher than pregnant cows in class 5. It means that farmers do everything they can do to keep the pregnant cows in the herd. Slide, please. This graph shows the results for the body condition score. In this case, the class with the score 5 was chosen as the reference class. We can see that fat cows show a higher risk to be culled than thin animals. In addition, the relative risks were higher for the true longevity than for functional longevity, so the reduced survival for fat cows are probably associated to poor milk production. Slide, please. And finally, I present the results for the clinical mastitis. This trait was classified in 5 classes, and the class 0 included the animals without the disease, was chosen as the reference class. We can see that the risk to be culled increased as the number of clinical mastitis events increased. In the case of 4 or more mastitis, the relative risk for the functional longevity was higher than for true longevity. It means that farmers prefer to keep in the herd high productive cows, even if they have more mastitis during the lactation. But surprisingly, the relative risk for the cows in class 1 was lower than for the animals in class 0. It can be due to the presence in the class 0 of animals that were cured for whatever reason in early lactation, so they had no time to experience mastitis. But the presence of these animals in the class can increase the relative risk estimated. Slide, please. So in conclusion, the insemination status, so the calving is the clinical mastitis, the somatic cell count, the body condition score, the body and the other depth have a significant relationship with the functional longevity and the true longevity. And we found the differences in the risk to be cured between the functional and the true longevity. It means that milk production often influences the curing decision. Slide, please. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Roberta. Thank you very much.